Hello, everybody. I'm Ashrita, a part of GirlScript Foundation. Today, we all are here to be a part of GirlScript Andhra Pradesh Regional Summit. I'm super excited to have all of you here about the conversation we'll get to have about our guest speaker. We have an amazing young entrepreneur who will be sharing his stories and career perspectives with us. And when I say amazing, I mean it. Like, before I introduce our guest speaker to all of you, I would put up a small question to our audience. Have you ever been in a situation where you weren't sure about your right career choices in specific? Well, that's the most important. I mean, we all would have faced that thing in our life. So I wouldn't deny saying that you're on the right platform today. Well, our guest speaker, Mr. Kanthi Dutt, he's a 20-year-old serial entrepreneur, author, strategist, investor, and a philanthropist. Someone so young, starting at a very early age of 12, to look within and find an unconventional path to achieve sustainable entrepreneurship is commendable, sir. In this conversation, he goes on to emphasize the need for early introspection and to rediscover own self at every phase of one's life. Thinking out of the box, breaking stereotypes, and to establish a path takes courage, talent, and zeal. This is evident in his own journey and success. So, guys, please grab this chance to interact with him and know how he overcame all the roadblocks in his journey to success. Sir, it's a pleasure meeting you and having you here today. So please, we'd be glad to hear your perspectives on the same.
Sure. Thanks, Ashrita, for introducing me, and I'm glad I'm sharing this with the GirlScript Foundation. I would like to talk a little about how you should start your journey and also fight the roadblocks in the path to success. Before that, I would like to congratulate GirlScript Foundation for having decided to have a platform like this where they bring together business enthusiasts and tech enthusiasts and give them the right mentorship by the right person at the right point of time. Because I'm purely a person who believes in right mentorship at the right point of time that will change the perspective of how one perceives and one does things in the way forward. Now, I would like to begin with talking about what is defined as success. So to start with, I believe success is a constant thrive that we all put to take ourselves to a point that we are happy to be in. So now I would like to talk about the youth's role in making the right career choices. Now, even before that, I would like to talk about how and why I have started off when I was 12. As a very young person, my parents always taught me to be very enterprising and have goals and aim in life. So with that, I believe I've always had the perspective to uh, have a goal that is set that I would want to achieve. So now coming to the choices that youth should make in the career choices, I would first want to talk about the right choices and for who these choices are right. So now coming back to who these choices are right, I think I would strictly talk about the career choices that you personally believe are right for you. And in this concept, I again believe the right choices are redefined as how one perceives a particular career choice and not about how your parents or your friends or your teachers talk about it. So now to start about making the right career choices, uh, I would like to again insist about what is right for us and who defines what is right. So when I started off, I clearly thought, the 9 to 5 job and working under someone is not exactly my forte. So I decided to launch a media company that gives me a scope to reach out to the maximum number of people to talk about what I believe is true. We started as a research company as Spartans Media, where we actively are involved in research activities and the qualitative, quantitative approach that I'm sure all of you should have, basic idea about. So now, how you should also remember not to do what is not right for you. So when I started my journey, a lot of them came up to me saying, "Hey, Kanthi, you shouldn't be risking. You should not focus on entrepreneurship at this point of time, and you should just limit yourself to books and school and college." And then I said, maybe that's what is right for you, but that is not what is right for me. So coming back to what I strictly believe, we should first be able to decide what is right, and we should know what is right for us. So, as an individual, all of us have different perspectives. For me, what worked out is something that might not work out for any of you in your personal life or in your career. So, I will again talk about you mentioning very clearly to yourself about what is right for yourself. And I think I can give you a few steps that will help you determine what is right for you. In the process of which you figure out what is right for you, you start with noting down your core abilities. So when you want to make a list of your abilities, you should start with understanding where you are starting. So as young people, I'm sure most of us will start with zero investment as such. So we can always have a bar where we limit our investment to a few thousands if our parents are interested to invest, or reach out to our friends or relatives who would like to give in some kind of basic money for us to invest and start with something. So now, in the process of approaching people and asking them what you'd like to do, or telling them what you would like to do, there'll be a lot of them trying to tell you, "Oh, this is not right. Oh, this is not something you should be doing." So now, the first thing that all of you should keep in mind is to how to clearly be very strong about what you shouldn't be doing or what you believe is not right for you. When I was young, I think I did not know this very fact that I should give it some time and not get back with spontaneous answers to people who were asking me to not do something. So now I would again come back to strictly saying no to something that your peers around you suggest you to do or not do. So when you have your list of abilities or list of resources in hand, it is far easier for you to answer to people saying, "Oh, this is why I believe this is right for me." So when I started off, I never realized having a mentor is very important. But over a period of time, I realized mentorship is the key to success. So it's really great that platforms like GirlScript and several others, like the highest to be Silicon Valley Foundation, being able to conduct certain mentorship programs and platforms like this, where we are able to interact and tell people why we should perceive what we believe in. Anyway, so coming back to how to smartly say no, I believe all of you should have heard of this company called Alma Mater and Varun Agarwal, who started off his career and also penned a book called How I Braved Anu Auntie and co-founded $1 million company. So as young people, we are always in this very urbanized and busy environment where it's very easy to uh, let unknown voices matter, or let people or peers around us talk about what we should be doing or we shouldn't be doing. So when you decide what is right for you, you strictly believe that is what you will pursue, and ensure you always give your 100%. So when I started off, the risks were pretty high. I was always told, when I am quitting education or when I'm keeping education aside to focus on entrepreneurship, I was always told, "You're taking the biggest risk of your life." Well, I think I was very clear about it. So my risk was definitely huge. So to the least I could tell you all, uh, when you take that risk, I think it's all about you taking the chance for one good time, and you will decide to do that for your lifetime. And I'm sure when we decide about one particular option or choice we select to perceive throughout, we always will focus and put 100% into it. To the worst, I could tell you, I was threatened if choosing entrepreneurship very early could be to the worst as my career ending. But I think I did not let the voices affect me. So the first rule that you have is to list down your abilities and decide why you want to do something. The second rule is to always let not the voices around you affect you. So now, when we go back to talking about the four main pillars, I should talk about confidence and convincing capacity. So, to start with, if we choose to do something, the most required factor is confidence. So, when we start with a particular task or a choice that you made to start with, it is very important that you have 100% confidence in your choice, in the choice that you make. And once you have the 100% confidence it all needs, then you are absolutely ready to do what you believe in. So now, once you build the right confidence, and to build the right confidence, I will definitely say have positive people around you. Have people who tell that you are doing the right thing. Have people who will always say you can do anything and you should give your 100% to it. Positivity is very important when it comes to confidence building. So having positive people around you who let you do what you believe in is very important. So starting with confidence, and then I should talk about convincing capacity. So now I have a very little story to talk about. When I started off very early, I have reached out to a lot of them saying, "Hey guys, we are into market research, and sir, please give us an opportunity to work with you." And the basic work that we used to initially do is give a company a market survey saying who their competitors are and how they can compete and win in a particular market. You can talk about a textile brand as an example. If I'm selling a particular garment, a particular sari, or a particular menswear casual at a particular price, now I, as an agency, will give them a competitor analysis saying how many of them are selling a similar product and at what price you should be selling this product, and market it the right way to ensure you have the best capacity of sales. So now to start with confidence building and then to talk about have you convinced people around you, I again should talk about you having positive people around you. So positivity is something that will build your confidence, and confidence will build about your utmost need to confidence building, and also make sure you reach out to people and be able to convince them. So now when I have to talk about convincing capacities, I will have to again reinsist on you ensuring to directly talk to the point about what you can offer the client when you have a business. So generally, again, to start with figuring out the two sectors of business, that could be service industry or manufacturing industry. I should say both parties, be it be manufacturing industry or service industry, we always should basically reach out to clients or customers to sell the product, commodity, or a service. So when we're doing that, we have to ensure we talk to the point. So when we talk to the point, it directly connects to the person, the buyer, or the person who is utilizing your service. So when you talk to the point and tell them, "Hey, this is what I'm offering," I am sure they will want to let you even sit down and discuss further about it. So when I started off, I never knew I should be talking to the point when I approach a client. So I started saying, "Hey, this is Kanthi Dutt, and this is what I do, and this is what I want to offer." And by the time I used to talk about my offering, they are vexed. So they will not want to even listen about what I'm specifically offering for them. So you don't often get an opportunity to basically tell people about what your offering is. So we will strictly have to keep it to the point, tell people what your offering is, tell clients what your offering is, and then you have an option, you have an opportunity to tell them uh, all about yourself and why you have also landed up here. So so the very important first pillar is confidence and being able to convince people. So going to the second pillar that will help you start with an entrepreneurship idea is having the right mentor. So mentorship is something that I've previously mentioned about, but I would like to give you details about mentorship and mentors at this point of time, being it the most important and the second pillar of entrepreneurship. So when I started off, coming from a background of educationalists, my family is all into books and stuff, and I am the only person who has ventured out of books and started entrepreneurship. So, coming from a background of educationalists, left me with a lot of troubles because I had no person to tell me what business sounds like or how you have to perceive things to ensure you're successful in business. So having the right mentor. So again, if I have to talk about the right mentor, your parent could be your guide, not your mentor. So there is a very clear example I can give you to differentiate between a guide and a mentor. So guide is a person who will tell you what you should be achieving, but not what you should be doing to achieve that. So your guide will tell you, Kanti, you should make, say, 1 crore rupees to ensure you have a very stable life, have 2 cars, have 2 kids, and a house. So that is what a guide will typically tell you. Like how you should be doing is something that a guide will never tell you. So now your parents could be your guides. They will want the best for you. Your friends could be your guides. They will want the best for you. Having said that, if they're really your well-wishing friends and not your fake friends. So now all peers, friends, relatives, family are all these people who are around you, but they will only be guiding you. They will not be able to give you mentorship. A mentor is a person who has walked the same path as you personally want to walk right now. So if you are starting a food business, if you're getting into a foodpreneurship, then you need to have a mentor who has previously been into food business, which is very important. So now having the right mentor should definitely talk about or specifically mention about having the mentor in the same genre of business you're getting into or the same sector of business you're getting into. So if you're starting with food business, you have a food mentor. If you're starting with a business that's into agency servicing, consulting, you have a mentor who has previously handled a consultancy firm or an agency. And if you're starting an online platform or a tech startup, you need to have a technical mentor who will guide you with what is good, what is not for your technical startup or a tech startup. So having the right mentor will definitely guide you through the process of telling you what is good and what is not in your particular journey because they have already walked this particular journey and they know what is what in the same journey. So when now I have to talk about the right mentor, I did tell you you need to have the person who is from the same genre of work or who has already successfully run a business that is into the same line of work you want to begin with. But when should you have a mentor? So now I will walk you back through the first step of starting entrepreneurship. That's listing your abilities. So once you list your abilities, you then need a mentor. So need of the mentor falls right in the very first step of entrepreneurship. If you have a mentor at later stages, he will not able to reverse the issues that were previously existing in your organization or in your work structure. So now, if I have to talk about the right time, it is exactly when you list down your options, your abilities, and then you reach out to a mentor saying, sir, this is my business idea, and I believe you also have walked through this path. So again, I am specifically talking about how you should approach a mentor is again because the way you approach people is very important. The way you approach them will build in confidence and then they will like to invest their time and energies. So now you will again have to keep in mind that when you're approaching people, you're strictly talking to the point. But when it comes to mentors, it's a little different. You will first have to praise them. So when you have to start gaining their time, energies to be dedicated for you, first praise them. So you will start talking about why you are reaching out to them. So you will say, hey, sir, this is so and so, and I'm reaching out to you because I believe your contribution to the food industry is inevitable. And I am reaching out to you because I would like to walk through the same path and contribute to the similar or the same industry. So that's how you begin with talking to a mentor. And once you approach a mentor, always be sure that you are not lying to your mentor. If you are not giving the right facts and figures, you call it to be as the investment that you could put in, you call it to be as the abilities that you have to do something, whatever that is, to be able to tell them what your exact capacities are is very important for them to give you the right mentorship. So when you have the mentor, you approach them, you tell them what you want to do, and then you clearly voice out your interest. So voicing out your interest is again very important. If I am a mentor, I will not voluntarily guide a person before knowing why the person wants to pursue a particular journey or a business. So here, when we are referring to business as such for our journey, I will first want to understand why we should be definitely talking about a particular journey that we are choosing. So if I chose to get into media consulting, I will have to tell my mentor why media consulting. What are my abilities that I believe will contribute to proper media consulting agency that I can run? So we will start with telling them what we want to do. So now, coming back to the very second pillar, mentorship at the right point of time. So I would like to rephrase from the first pillar and then take you to the third pillar. So the first pillar is confidence building, which is very important. And that is only possible when you have positivity around you and people who talk positively about your upcoming journey. And then the right approach. So when you have to reach out to people and sell your product, a right approach is very important. There are a lot of books, there are a lot of videos on the internet that will help you about the right approach. So I think you will just have to Google and search about the right approach for you to understand more about it. Coming to the second pillar is mentorship. So as I told you, having the right mentor at the right point of time is very, very important. So now let us jump into the third pillar of uh, the major important pillars of building a sustainable entrepreneurial journey. So the third pillar is perseverance and timeliness. So I will describe perseverance and timeliness in very, very two different contradicting ways. Perseverance. So I believe all of you understand the very basic meaning of perseverance. So having starting to do something, we always need to choose to do the basic activity until we gain success. So having to do something is not just that is important, but having to do that and continuing to do that despite your failures are very important. A wise man has said, failures are the stepping stone to success, and I purely believe in that. My first loss in the company was 25 lakhs. And this 25 lakhs is just bought in from parents and I invested into business. But if I have given up at that point of time, I wouldn't be here talking to you and writing books about what I believe in. So when I started seeing failures, I ensured I rebuilt my confidence in what I would like to do. And then I clearly focused upon ensuring I continue to pursue what I wanted to do. So perseverance is very important, and having the stability in life about what you choose to do is again very, very crucial. Uh, Now, if I again have to talk about perseverance in the alternative way, I would say we all have a lot of factors that influence our business and life time to time. So, because I'm catering to a very young audience, I will tell you having a girlfriend or a boyfriend is also something that will deviate you from your focused goals. So, I again, as being a very young person, you might not like me saying this, but I'm a person who strictly believes in the right time that you should choose to do every particular activity. So now, if you are deviating yourself from the mainstream agenda, which is entrepreneurial success, then you are giving up on your career very easily. Having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, where I will refer to as a partner, is not wrong, but having to focus on something that's not important at this particular point of time, and having to not choose to focus on something that is very important, which you chose previously as important, which is entrepreneurial journey, is not right. So having perseverance and ensuring these factors, like, your parent might say you should be doing this, your family friend might say you should be doing this, your girlfriend would have a different opinion, your boyfriend might have a different opinion, but choosing to continue and perceive what you have started to do is very important. So don't let the unknown voices matter at all. So perseverance is to be now kept aside, and let's talk about timeliness. So every goal that we set in the journey to success, I believe we should always strictly uh, limit ourselves to timely delivery of services. So when I am talking about timeliness, I am referring to having a particular goal set for a particular period of time. So if you want to achieve particular amount of success. So success is always referred in terms of amount. So when you want to achieve a particular amount of success, you will instantly have to understand what your short-term goals are and then what your long-term goals are. So to start with timeliness, I would say define your goals as short-term and long-term. So to start with, I can say when you venture into something within 1 month, you will want to achieve 1 lakh rupees. So that is your short term goal. Having a short term goal will always help you understand what you should do and how you should start doing it. So, timeliness is again going to specifically talk about your stability. So when you start to do something and have a goal, like I told you, you will want to make 1 lakh rupees in the first 1 month of starting your journey, or in the first 3 months of starting your journey, to be more practical about. So in the first 3 months, you want to earn a profit of 1 lakh rupees. In that case, you will instantly have to focus, break it down into number of days you have and the tasks that you should be doing to ensure you achieve the goal that you have set for yourself. So now when you're perceiving to do something, and when you are pursuing in the focused goal that you have drafted for yourself, it is again very important that you include your focus exclusively on only one goal at one particular point of time, because we are not Sadhguru, we are just common humans. We have to always focus on the limited energies we have towards the major goal we have in life. So now you are defining your goals. Someone is not defining that for you. So you shouldn't be blaming someone or look back and repent for what you have chosen to do at any point of time. So always remember to not repent and to not look back and rethink about what you have decided to do. So now I have walked you through three very important pillars. And now let me talk about the fourth important pillar: breaks and leisure. I strictly believe in taking breaks and give yourself time for basically thinking about what you're doing and then analyze what you want to do. So, to start with breaks and leisure, I would say it is very important that you take limited breaks for yourself. So, when you take breaks, you're not hanging out at clubs, you're not hanging out at a coffee shop, but you're just spending time with yourself. If you can travel, I believe traveling is going to help the most in the time of leisure to pause and rethink. So I will tell you why pausing and thinking about what we are doing is important. So in the very urbanized world, it is important that we get carried away with what we have chosen to do And we never look back and think, oh, is this what I really want to do? So if you look at even our parents or elder siblings or friends or cousins, a lot of them come back to us saying, this 9 to 5 job is not what I wanted to do. I have a lot of business friends who come back to me saying, Kanthi, construction business is shit. I will not want to do this. I'm sorry I've used that word, but yeah, that's how they speak. So when you're really upset with something and you're upset about pursuing it forever, you will want to step back, pause, and think about what you want to do next. So ideally, I would always say taking those limited breaks, giving yourself that leisure time is important so that you reflect. So think, process, and ponder is something that I purely believe in. So to start with thinking, you will need to take a break. So take enough amount of breaks for yourself so that you think about what you're doing and understand if that is what you actually wanted to do. So think about what you're doing is going to basically help you about processing what you wanted to do. So when you process about your complete goals, your complete journey on the path that you're already on, you understand how to ponder. And when you're basically looking at alternatives, I'm sure all of us do have those look back moments. I also personally had a lot of look back moments in my career. So, what is a look back moment? We always look back into the past and understand, oh, is this what I wanted to do? Or is this what I really thought I should be doing? Because, again, I again strictly believe in a very simple thought that all of us should understand is we never know the depth of the well until we jump into it. So until you start your business venture, you will not really know what you are getting yourself into. Sometimes it could be very tough. Sometimes it could be very easy. So being a serial entrepreneur myself, I have ventured into several businesses, started off with more than 50 firms right now, and I have investments in more than 100 firms. So now, if I'm having to talk about choosing what you're doing versus thinking or looking back at what you shouldn't be doing, I always had a very clear balance in not letting myself deviate too much by rethinking process. Simultaneously, I was always giving myself the time to rethink about what I doing and what I really wanted to do. So when you take that little pause in life, I think my whole new book that I've recently launched called Rediscovering Path to Success talks about this very fourth pillar of entrepreneurship. Why I'm talking about this as a pillar is because, again, in the book that I've spent, Rediscovering Path to Success, I'm sure a few of you might have heard of it, or a few of you might have even read the book. I should be glad if you did that. But this book is absolutely going to help you rediscover your own interests. And the book walks you through the path of the journey when you're at the Y junction. So all of us are at the Y junction when we pause and rethink about what we're doing. So when I was always taking a pause and rethinking about what I want to do and what I'm doing, I have always realized there is something that I'm missing out on. So when I realize there is something I'm missing out on, I would rethink and then talk about or think about what I want to do next. So those why junctions will have three questions: when, why, and how. So when should someone rediscover? So when you're unhappy with what you're doing, which means you're not satisfied with what you're doing, then is the right time to pause, rethink, and rediscover your interests and goals. I would strictly talk about rediscovering very often if needed, and this might contradict the typical Indian stereotypical mentality where parents or your elders say, don't rethink too much and just believe in what you have chosen to do and follow. No, that is going to not work. It will leave you in a very unsatisfied situation at the end of your life. So you shouldn't be doing what you started off with, but instead You should look back, think if that is of your interest, and then decide if you want to continue doing that or rephrase what you want to do in life. So now, if I have to talk about how you should rediscover, so there are again several steps here if I have to talk about how you should discover or rediscover in your life at different points of time. So when you're looking back and rethinking about why you're rediscovering, that's definitely because you're unhappy or you're not satisfied. So satisfaction could be monetary or non-monetary in many cases. For example, when I started off with Spartans Media, I knew I had monetary satisfaction, but I did not have that very little personal satisfaction that a business could give me. So then I decided I will launch a social initiative where I am making money and simultaneously helping rural children with their education. Because I believe literacy is very important. Literacy is not what we learn in books. So I have partnered with this NGO called Teach for Change Trust, which is chaired by my dearest friend Lakshmi Manchu and also headed by CEO Chaitanya Krishna. I believe they are exactly in the path that I have chosen to be on, which is teaching leadership skills and motivating children while simultaneously telling them how they should speak. That is basically English literature or spoken English. So they have set up themselves on this path where they guide students from the government schools through their literacy benefit. So now I have partnered with this NGO and I launched One Crore Tees, which is a social initiative where people buy T-shirts and we send the profits to underprivileged children for their literacy benefit through Teach for Change Trust. So then I saw my satisfaction. So my satisfaction did not come from monetary benefit of Spartans Media. My satisfaction came out from a non-commercial or a semi-commercial activity that I launched where I am helping lakhs of kids. So that is exactly what satisfaction is about. So satisfaction is something that could differ from one person to one person. So I believe there are around 500 registrations today, and in these 500 people, whoever are on the platform listening to this particular talk that I'm hosting today, I believe a lot of you might not see satisfaction in making tons of money like I did not at a point of time. Initially, it's very nice, it's very happy because you have your money, you buy your cars. I have 4 cars, I have 2 houses, I have whatever I wanted to do and whatever I wanted to have. But that at some point of time will not give you satisfaction. So when you decide to rethink and decide about what is giving you satisfaction, because satisfaction changes time to time, it is important to rediscover constantly in the changing environment. Self introspection is the key for self growth. Self introspection is about knowing what you are, what you want, and what you want to achieve in life. So, when you talk about self introspection, it is very important that you take a pause and rethink, which is exactly my fourth pillar of strength for entrepreneurship. So here is where I would like to end talking about the pillars of entrepreneurship, where I've mentioned about very four important pillars. So now I would like to stress on the next topic of evaluating what is not right. So evaluation is a very important step in the process of entrepreneurship. Every day, every week, every month, we will always have different things to reevaluate about. So when you're reevaluating, you evaluate about your expenses, your process, your organizational structure, your beliefs, your disbeliefs, and it is very important to act against what is not right for you. You only understand what is right and what is not right only when you limit yourself to constant basis evaluating your businesses. So always focus on evaluating your businesses on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis to ensure you act right and you act against what is not right. Now, what is the other very important factor? So I believe uh, when we are getting into a very new environment, which is a business environment, if I should say, I'm very happy a lot of these media channels talk about carving your niche in business and all that, but it doesn't happen fortnight. The key to successful entrepreneurship is having your eyes wide open. That is exploration. So when you're entering into a new world, it is important to have your eyes wide open, look around, learn from people around you. So when you look around and understand how people are achieving certain things in life or achieving certain goals in their business, that is how you learn. I have learned the most because of exploration. I have traveled too many countries. I have met too many people, and that's exactly what helped me explore. Exploration is going to be the key to your successful entrepreneurship journey. So keep your eyes wide open when you want to explore, when you want to learn. Knowledge is something that you will only gain when you explore. There is another podcast that I recently heard from our Telugu film industry film director, Mr. Puri Jagannath sir. So when I heard this podcast, so the podcast, in a very short term to explain about it, it says having friends with experience is the best knowledge you could gain from. So I'm exactly talking about that for something good or something bad, which you might think of, which I definitely perceive as a very good factor of having friends who are not in my age group. So to be frank, I don't have friends in any age group of 20 to 30. All my friends are 35 plus who have set up their businesses, and that's exactly who my group of friends are. So because I have a group of friends, or my circle is always limited to very enterprising, very on the go kind of people, and who have already experienced entrepreneurship as career, I learn the most from them. So I am able to learn because I kept my eyes wide open to learn from them. But having said that, I think I am limiting myself to not having friends or not having business partners very young business. Um, I'm taking a short break to understand if you guys are able to hear about what I'm speaking. Can someone post on the comments saying they're able to hear me, because I'm changing my AirPods on and off so that I'm audible and I'm not losing on the charge. Can someone comment saying I'm audible? Yeah, thank you so much. So coming back to talking about uh, having your eyes wide open and exploring, have friends who are elder to you. That is something that I have believed in, which I believe is my key to success and to the far successful journey that I've had till today. So have friends that are definitely older to you. So I will tell you again why this clearly helps you in pursuing what you want to do. So my first meeting was with a 60-year-old client, and this client is my first mentor. In the process of me believing and conquering my business niche, I always believed in first acquiring maximum number of mentors. So again, this all is very circular in motion. You talk about perseverance, it goes back to mentor. You talk about goals, it goes back to a mentor. You talk about taking the pause to rethink, it goes back to a mentor. You talk about having your eyes open, it goes back to a mentor. So you basically should understand why I'm specifically talking about mentorship as such. So now let me talk about the very next topic that I wanted to focus on, that is having control over situations. So when we execute a particular activity and when we have to deal with different situations at different point of time in life, I believe we should be smart enough to have these situations in control. So what is having situations in control? So when I started off, I had a lot of situations that were coming in and I had to deal with. So, to also give you a very rough example, I'm saying this rough because it was very rough for me personally. There were competitors who threatened you for having to coming in line of competition with them. That is often there in this business world. So how do you see this threatening is not with swords and threatening you by calls and all that. They threaten you in a very business subtle way. They clearly make it very visible to you, saying that they are the pioneers in business. Who are pioneers in business? People who have started off doing the same kind of business before us are pioneers in business. So they clearly make it evident to you that they are pioneers in business. This happened to me in a very home city for me, that is Vishakhapatnam. These pioneers try to threaten you, saying they are the market leaders, while you should be smart enough to have that kind of situations in your control. So when you have to take something into control, again, I have to focus on ensuring you guys do not let these unknown voices affect you. So when I initially had no idea that people very elderly, people who have been in the business for 20, 25 years, could even be threatened by what I am doing, which means there is some value to my work. So be happy. So when someone is threatening you or when someone is trying to come into your journey, be happy, because they will not want to threaten you if they think you are of no use. They are going to threaten you only when they are shook by your activities and when they think that you are actually their competition. So it took time for me to understand these people are very silly to try divert my emotions and abilities from business goals to only fighting with these people who do not matter. But nevertheless, at a point of time, I realized these people are only trying to deviate my focus from business and are making me focus more on trying to answer to these people. Well, I think now, because I am strictly telling you, don't let people affect you. I do agree. We in the initial days, have these very basic consequences on our emotional strength. For me, ageism played a drastic impact on my emotional strength. Wherever I go, people used to say, "Oh, this bacha, 12-year-old, who are you expecting to partner with? What are you doing?" So this is how old people talk. Okay, so you don't have to talk about it, or you don't have to really think about it, but you should not let that affect you. You are on a very pure journey. You are on your pure journey that you believe in. So you have to concretely focus on what you're doing, and then you cannot let these people affect you. So you always keep this in mind to have control over situations. So when you have control over situations, it affects you less on the emotional strength. So now let me quickly jump to the next topic that I have. It's never too early or too late to begin or re-begin. I want to mention this again and again. It is never too late or never too early to begin or re-begin. So now I think I'm catering to audience in the age group of 20 to 25, if I'm not wrong, today, as the organizers told me. So I will talk about beginning and not more about re-beginning, because I'm sure all of you are in the phase of starting your journey and you're not in the phase of restarting your journey like how people in the 30s or 35 could do. So now I would strictly say this stereotypical Indian mindsets that we see. Again, I'm talking about Indian mindsets is because I have traveled away from India and I see people people abroad give ample opportunities to people for gain their own knowledge. Trust me, a 12-year-old cleans their father's car to get pocket money abroad. Do we do that? No, we don't do that. I believe none of us do that. Do any of you can comment on the comment section? Do have any of you cleaned cars of your dad's or of your family cars to get any kind of pocket money to spend on something? I don't think there is anyone. I don't see any yes coming in. So anyway, so this is not something that we are taught in our region that we stay in, but that's not wrong. That's how these people believed in. But it is our journey that we are starting to change this. I will also give you a very small example. I'm pulling this example in between because this is something that I believe is a monumental decision by Indian government, which is legalizing rules for gay, lesbian, cross genders, and bisexual community, which is LGBTQ, which I'm sure all of you should be aware of, being in your early 20s or mid 20s. So why did India legalize it? Because all of us are believed to have freedom of loving who we love, and it is not something that the government can have a rule about. So now the society is evolving. So let us not get deep into the topic of that, but I am only trying to give you relevance about uh, how the society is evolving. And I believe that's evolving because of people like you and me, people in the early 20s who are trying to change things. And tomorrow, when my son comes to me saying, Dad, I would want to start a business at 12, I am not surprised. It is very usual for me. And according to me, I should support him my best way to ensure he's happy and he's doing what he wants to pursue. But I would always have a checklist of abilities before I tell him you can do this. So again, I would now I will not go back to having the checklist, but I will want to stress again on changing things as we evolve. So when we want to start something, it's not too early. Don't believe that it's too early to start something. Don't believe it's too late. I have a friend who is 45 who now runs a food chain. He runs a food chain that's having a 200-250 crore business worth. But he did not start his journey in the age of 19. He started his journey at 40. So it's not too late to begin when you want to pursue something. And how will you know if you want to pursue something? You will only know when you take a break. So I'm again going back to the fourth pillar of entrepreneurship: pause and rethink. Because with the changing environment, changing situations, all of us have changing goals and changing dreams time to time. So it's important that we understand what we want to do. So now I will want to end the whole concept of entrepreneurship with talking about taking charge. I would like to take a 2-second break to have a sip of water, and I will be back. Thank you for holding back. So, so where were we? We are talking about taking charge. So what's taking charge? I should tell you guys, when you decide to do something and when you want to set on a journey, You are solely responsible. Having the responsibility and accountability of your decision is basically about taking charge. So, in my book, Rediscovering Path to Success, the chapter that talks about love and other relationships is basically the same. I've clearly mentioned in this chapter love and other relationships, telling people not to blame people around you, not to blame situations around you for your unhappy state or for your miserable failure or for you not choosing to do or pursuing what you have chosen to do. So now, when you take charge of yourself and of your decisions, I believe we will not be in the position to answer to someone, but you will also not have the right to question someone because you have absolutely taken charge of your own self, of your own decisions. I will I will narrate this very little story, that I had in my life. I had a business partner. I would not like to take names, but I had a business partner who I departed with. I would always appreciate entrepreneurs par excellence, but our creativity did not match. Our creativity did not match, and we had to depart. So, now, what is business ethics? So, I am talking about business ethics because I had a business partner. I have hundreds of business partners, but I had this one particular business partner who departed from my business, from my partnership, who went around and started trying to tell my clients that Kanti is not a fair person. So now, how do you treat a situation like this? If your clients are falling for these kind of statements by people trying to defame you, then you have to pity your clients because your clients have been working with you for some particular kind of time. So they know who you are, they know what kind of a person you are. And someone coming in between and telling the client, hey, don't believe in Kanti, don't trust Kanti, Kanti is not fair, doesn't matter. And if it does matter to a client, the client is not a loyal client. Having a client who is not loyal gives you no benefit. So you shouldn't be considering about the clients who are worried about what someone is talking about you. But I should also talk to you guys about how to tackle your emotional balances. Now, I have personally witnessed this in life. On my Instagram page or my Facebook page or any platform, any place where I go, even in the comment section today or wherever I go to talk, there are always people who try to point out some mistake. There are always people who try to contradict what you're speaking. There are always people who try to point out at you to say you are at fault. Don't trust that. You don't have to let that impact on your emotional balances. So now I'm telling you not to let that impact on your emotional balances because it did impact me in the initial days when I let it impact my emotional balances. Even today, you all guys can check my Instagram page, Kanthi underscore Dutt, where there are too many comments, and sometimes I am not very happy reading a few comments. 2 years ago, there's a person who commented on my post saying, uh, "Why are you giving lectures?" Okay, so if I am giving lectures, uh, it is your interest whether you have to attend my lecture or not. Today, you guys, these 500 people on the live chat today, have chosen to attend this conversation, have chosen to listen to my lecture, if you consider that as lecture. But you are not forced to follow my Instagram page and you have no right to comment about something that I believe in. There are a lot of people who email me, who write to me. See, I respond to all direct messages I receive on Instagram, on emails, on Facebook. I am very approachable. I am very approachable because I believe in my energies, my abilities, my knowledge that could be spread to a lot of people. I don't want to limit myself to just making tons of bags for myself. No, that's not my agenda. If you look into my website, kanthidutt.com, it clearly says if you have a personal issue, you can call me. So I am available for any kind of help that anyone needs at any point of time. Again, coming back to why I'm talking about not letting these unknown comments, unknown people, or people who you know but who try to defame you, not impact on your emotional strength is because it will take a toss. I will not want to take names to defame anybody or to put anyone to stardom, but I am sure all of us do know uh, Shri Amitabh Bachchan is India's number one film star, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni is number one cricket person, or a cricket man, or a sportsman, or whatever you want to call it as. But I'm taking these two names, Mahendra Singh Dhoni and Shri Amitabh Bachchan ji, is because even today, if you go into their Instagram pages and look into those comment section, there are a lot of people who troll them, who make jokes on them. But they wouldn't have become superstars if all these comments mattered at all to them. Same example with our lives. So tomorrow I have two friends, if I'm not wrong, called Vishal and Venki, who are exchanging conversation on my comment box. Anyway, so now Vishal and Venki are good friends, and hypothetically, they have partnered on a business venture. They are doing something together. Guys, don't take it personally because I'm saying it's hypothetically. So, hypothetically, if they both partner on a business and they both decide on doing something, so now there could be a situation where they have a conflict. Conflict resolution is very important in business. Having said that, uh, besides resolution, there could be situations when you cannot resolve. So Vishal might say, "Hey Venki, I'm not interested in this business partnership anymore. Let's break." Okay, it's good that you have decided to break this business partnership, but the reason for breaking your business partnership, or the reason for why you have chosen to not continue partnership with Vishal, is very personal to Venki. Vishal cannot go talk to 100 people saying Venki is bad. No, Venki is not bad. Neither Vishal is bad. Now, who will decide who is bad, who is not? When I am doing something that might be good to someone, that might be bad to someone. So if someone is standing on this side for me, which is apparently my left side, because you can see on the right because it's on the camera, I am on the person's on the right side, and the person is on my left side. Both of us can't be on the right side to each other. So there is always two sides to the coin, two sides of the story. So always remember to have certain business and life ethics. The first business ethics is not to talk behind people's back because they will know about it. There was a very dear friend of mine from Vishakhapatnam, who is a doctor at a very huge super specialty hospital. She's very matured, who I thought she is, but she is not. Apparently, because the person who went and told her uh, the experience for why they had to break partnership with me is very personal, but the person who shared, no offense, it did affect the doctor's relationship with me. But now I can say I pity the doctor because they let this person affect them, keeping aside their personal experience and relationship with Kanthi Dutt. So again, coming back to what I strictly want to talk about, have control over your emotional strength, have control of your emotional balances. Don't let these things affect you. Also, I'm telling you guys, this doctor who is a very dear friend of mine, stop taking calls, but that's okay. You should always uh, see the good in what you guys are doing. So this doctor stopped taking calls, but in a very nice way, Upasana Kamini became a very dear friend who is who is very huge in the business of healthcare compared to that of this very small doctor from Vishakhapatnam. I am not defaming anyone. I am not talking less about anyone, but you have to take every situation as an opportunity. We should be opportunistic. We should be selfish. That's how you begin to do something that you want to purely do. So now, I will like to again focus about little things that we uh, fake about with people around us, right from parents to people you work with. And I'm sure you should always have a strict belief, which I believed in. Fake it till you make it, and flaunt it if you have it. So if you should obviously have an extent to the kind of life you're cooking up, which is not actually fair and which is not nice because people like authentic people. But nevertheless, you are choosing to talk about something in a particular way because you are focusing on your goal. Because I'm talking about goals individually, which is not wrong. You have to fake certain things until you make it, which is good for yourself, but ensure your authenticity is not questioned at any point of time. And the second phrase that I've given you, flaunt it if you have it. So if I am good with um, SWOT analysis, because I am a business and political strategy consultant, if I believe something is not wrong, I stick to that. If I strongly believe it is right, I clearly stick to that. I can't deviate myself from what I previously believed in what is right and what I previously believed in what is wrong. So if that is my ability to choose to do something, then I have to flaunt it. I have to tell people that is my ability. So in a very basic way, when you're choosing to walk on a path, be be you just have to market yourself first before you market your product or service. A product could be AirPods, a product could be anything, but you have to first market yourself. So your face should be marketed before you market your service or goods, which is the clean way of how you can start your business entrepreneurship. Now, there is a very popular stereotypical belief that don't dream big, which is not true, which is not at all true. Never be scared of wanting more for yourself than you ever thought you could achieve. I strictly believe in that. This is a very popular saying by Priyanka Chopra, actress, who said, "Don't be scared to want more for yourself than you ever thought you could achieve." Now, when we are dreaming about something, your dreams should be huge. They can be huge. Now, who will define if that is huge or small? Only you can define. Now, my goal is to make 200 crores in 2021. Someone's dream is to make 20,000 crores in 2021. Someone's dream is to make 2 crores in 2021. So these dreams, these goals are very specific. You dream for yourself, having considered your abilities and resources. So if someone is saying your dreams are too big, then trust me, their minds are too small. Don't have people with small minds around you. I am mentioning about this very one name who is my favorite mentor in life. That is uh, Sandeep, who owns KS Bakers, a favorite food chain in Hyderabad. So Sandeep is a very dear friend, is a very dear mentor, uh, uh, who strictly has focused mindset about what he's doing, and he clearly says if someone is not matching up to your standards or expectations, just walk off from the person. So I always believe having good friends, good mentors who can who can match up to your level of thought process is very important in your entrepreneurial journey. I would now like to talk about another very funny topic. But before that, I would like to tell you guys, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment box right now. Before I complete talking about the other topic that I'm going to start, so that I answer your questions after I finish the topic that I'm starting right now. So please go ahead and start typing your questions on the comment box here. Um, Thank you. So I again believe in a very good saying, very funny saying, very creepy saying that says, "Good boys go to heaven, bad boys go everywhere." So here, boys is not a gender specific; it could be any person. So good person goes to heaven, bad person goes everywhere. Don't mind being that bad person, because like I told you, only when you go everywhere you explore, you learn. And it is not bad to explore, it is not bad to go everywhere, it is not bad to be a bad person. There's nothing called a bad person. People who give you these labels are basically very jealous about you, or they clearly do not know what is basically your streamline of agenda that you started off with. Anyways, so coming back to my very favorite thing, good boys go to heaven and bad boys go everywhere. This is again a very favorite saying that is said by Sri Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi, who runs the Kinnara Akhada in India. And she clearly says it is very important that we explore. Exploration is the key. Um, so now, when you're starting off with what you want to do, I had a very strict belief. I always said to people, uh, I am a superhero with unexplored superpowers. So all of us are superheroes. Here, when I'm saying I am a superhero, I don't mean I am a superhero. All of us are superheroes, and when we talk about superheroes, we should believe we are good at what we are doing. That's exactly when you will put your total focus and back every situation with your 100% efforts. So I told people I am a superhero with unexplored superpowers. So let me explore my superpowers. So now, having in a previous conversation with Hindustan Times, which is a very niche business and conversation entertainment platform, uh, the journalist said, "I grew up from nothing to a bigwig." So these kind of quotes or labels people give you will definitely add value, because that's how we pursue things. But when people give you bad labels, I'm saying do consider, do learn from those labels, but don't let these labels affect you or impact your journey towards your success. So now, I am again not sure how many of them are active on the live session today, but to tell you guys, because we are anyways getting to the later end of this conversation today, um, I would like to address few questions that came in. Before which, I would like to talk about something that I believed in. Um, Now, give me a second, sorry. Um, yeah. So I wanted to tell you guys, if you want to buy a Lamborghini, or if you want to buy an Audi, or if you want to buy a Mercedes car, you can't go to Maruti Suzuki showroom or Toyota showroom to ask them if you have to buy E250 or S500, 520. No, it doesn't work. So when you want to buy a Lamborghini, you have to go to a Lamborghini showroom and check what you want to buy. So what we often do is we choose the wrong places to start with. So when we want to buy a Mercedes car, we go to, I mean, not literally, but hypothetically, we go to a Toyota showroom thinking what car to buy. You can never buy a Mercedes car in a Toyota showroom. So when you want to buy a Lamborghini, don't ask a Toyota driver for guidance, right? So when you want to do something huge, you have to reach out to people who you believe can cater to your thought processes. In that way, I am promising you today I will be available on my Instagram, my Facebook, or on email. You can reach out to me through my website, kanthidutt.com, KANTHIDUTT.com. At any point of time, if you're seeking for any guidance, mentorship, or investment, if you have the right idea, who will decide if the idea is right? I will decide if the idea is right. So if you guys have plans to start things, please write to me. I will invest and we will make them bigger. I am open to all kinds of mentorship and guidance because, like I told you, there's the point in life when I'm not happy with money. I am looking at guiding people, mentoring people, and helping them explore their passion and pursue what they want to do. So now coming back to the questions that have come to us on the chat box, Uh, Paritosh asked me a question saying, should we focus on jobs or business, or both things can be done simultaneously? See, guys, this is a very difficult question. If it depends basically on the family, if you have to take care of the family when you are 24, when your parents have given you the freedom to uh, finish your graduation. But once you finish your graduation, if you have to take care of a family financially, you should always focus on secured income, which is very practical. Um, don't take me wrong because we are talking about business today and I'm saying focus on job. No, but you have to start with ensuring there is focused, streamlined, fixed income before you start to try several other things. So if you ask me, Paritosh, it is a very personal question, but if you have the freedom to invest your time and energies, and if the family is not depending on you, you can do anything. But if you have certain responsibilities, if you have certain goals and commitments, then I think you should start with a job and simultaneously plan on what business you want to do and gather the required resources. So here, if I'm talking about resources, it is financial resources, it is enough energies to do something, it is enough knowledge to do something. So it is a very individualistic question. Maybe if you can email me with more personal details, I can help you, Paritosh. But to the very baseline, I can say you know we can do both, but if you want to focus on something very particular and want to achieve success faster, you should never travel on two paths. You should always focus on only one journey and ensure you are solely traveling on that one focused journey. So am I audible now? I think I had a little disconnect, but yeah. So when I previously said pursue your job for 1 or 2 years and then get into business, I mean to say in those 1 or 2 years, you will still continue to gather knowledge and information about what you want to do. Only after that, if you start venturing into business and then keep your job aside, you will give your 100% focus and put your 100% efforts into business because you have already secured income for your family or for your responsibilities. So I think it's a very personal question, very individualistic question, but I did try to give him a basic understanding. So are there any other questions that you guys would like to ask? I am open to it. Um, Before that, I would like to talk about another thing that I believe always is, um, when you are pursuing something, when you have a particular goal, you are already on a journey to finish, go to the finish line. So when you're already on a journey, always remember that journey is absolutely yours and it is not someone else's. So when you're on your own personal journey, you have to embrace the journey. In the journey, you have to learn. You will obviously learn several things, but in the journey, you will always have to um, learn different things which are very personally impacting. My dear friend and my very close associate, who is again a leading India's fashion designer, Shilpa Reddy, once told me, Kanthi, sustainable living is not just about making tons of money and keeping them in the wardrobe. Sustainable living is to ensure people around us are happy, nature is safe. So now why this pandemic has come into picture is because we have not focused on keeping nature safe, which is our problem. So when we are committing a mistake, the nature reacts to the mistake. We can't blame the nature. We can't blame people if they react to what we are doing. So we have to completely embrace the situation, take ownership, and pursue what we want to do. Um, I would like to add another point, saying, see, if we are all on the journey to achieve something on the longer run, we have goals for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. But don't lose today in the hope of tomorrow. If you are not enjoying today, it doesn't make sense. There is that point of time in life when I realized I am not happy. Business is not keeping me happy. There is something else that will keep me happy, and that is personal satisfaction. So when you are doing something, please ensure every day is a happy day, and you ensure every day is keeping you very, very satisfied, very happy, and then you can only do something that you wish to do. Now, going back to another very favorite quote of mine, which says, don't limit yourself to a glass bowl when you know you can shatter the glass ceiling. Now, shattering the glass ceiling is very overrated. It is highly spoken about, but I believe it is the basic concentration that you have to give towards your personal goals are kept aside when you talk about glass ceilings. Now, wherever I go, wherever I speak, for any kind of audience, do we have more time? I think yes. So when we are talking about, when I go around to talk about anything that I believe in, or wherever I go, I always say it is very important to have work-life balance. So now, what is work-life balance, and why am I talking about work-life balance? So work-life balance is very important if you want to have peaceful, happy life. So now, um, how many of you always believed in giving time for yourself, like for a sport, like for going out for a gym, going out for recreation, something? Most of these focused people on entrepreneurship are workaholics. I am also a workaholic, but there was this point of time in life when I realized work is not just going to give me satisfaction. I have to take time and give that kind of decent balance like how Sadhguru also says, work-life balance is very important if you want to, um, you know, if you at all want to keep yourself in the safe zone. So I think the organizers want me to answer to a few questions. So I will ask them to give me questions. So meanwhile, I have a question from Vishal that says, if two people were traveling towards a goal and they were in the same path of the journey, the other person wants to quit from the journey because of the reason that they will not succeed, how to handle the situation. First thing, it is not your responsibility to convince anyone. If you are convinced, you have to continue on the journey. Now, why should you convince another person saying, oh no, this journey is right? No, we never have to convince someone saying this journey is right, because if they don't believe this journey is not, I mean, if this journey is right, then it's their personal perspective and agenda behind it. We can't tell them this agenda or this journey is right. Now, if you're two partners and one of you is quitting from this journey and one other person wants to continue, and if you are not able to convince the other person, which I said you shouldn't convince at all, and if you still want a co-founder or a partner to continue in the journey, now find people who believe in this journey. Find people who think this journey is right. Don't try to people who believe this journey is not right. I will tell you another very basic important thing. If I believe this journey is not right, but if you still try to convince me that this journey is right, because you are my dear friend, I might still continue in the journey with you, but in some corner of the mind, my mind keeps telling me this journey is not right. So that's when I will not give my 100% effort. And without 100% effort, it's impossible to succeed. Trust me, guys, when you have partners, when you have people who are walking along with you in a particular path, don't try to convince them if they don't believe in the journey. Instead, get a partner, get a person who believes in this journey and who is ready to give their 100% in this journey. So when I'm saying this, I am very sure about why I am talking about limiting it to that, to not convincing someone, is because if they don't give in that kind of energies, it is not worth it. It is not going to be a successful journey at the end of the day. So you don't want unsuccessful journey. You don't want partners who will make the journey unsuccessful. So I'm sure your answer is the answer finds you well, and your question is aptly answered too. There is how to handle the situation for the leftover person. So for the leftover person to handle the situation, you cannot convince the person. You shouldn't convince the person, is my belief. So you should get a new partner who believes in what you want to do. So that's exactly what the leftover person should be doing. Any other questions that I should be answering to? So by the time the other questions come in, I would like to walk you guys through the book I have recently penned that is called The Rediscovering Path to Success. So what is rediscovering path to success is something that we have all spoken about and you've heard about in the previous conversation with me. But now I would like to relate it to a very simple example and tell you what I believe. Um, I don't know how many of you should have heard of this very divine blessing of Shiva to Arjuna called the Pasupatastra. So there is this, it's like a tool. It's like a tool that is given to Arjuna by Lord Shiva, called the Pasupatastra. So Pasupati is Shiva, Astra is like a tool. So Pasupatastra is basically the tool that is given by Shiva to Arjuna. So now, what will Arjuna do with the tool, like a bow and arrow, without having an aim to hit? Arjuna needs to have an aim to hit with that bow and arrow that Shiva has given him. It is exactly what I have penned in the book. So, if you all have energies, if you have dreams, if you have goals, if you have capacity to do something, but if you do not have the goal, the end goal to attempt to achieve at the end of the day, it is not going to be important, or all the tools that you have are not going to suffice, or are not going to make any sense to your life, or they are not going to add any value to what you want to do. Um, Now, I would also want to ask you guys, how many of you So, how many of you have previously started with any kind of business model? If you have started with a business model, please write in the comment section and say, or write about the kind of business model you started. And let's take that as example to guide others and tell others about what you are personally thinking about. So, even before that, before the comments come in, um, I would like to also focus on another important topic that I believe in entrepreneurship, that is having a co-founder. So when I started off, there is no person who told me, Kanthi, have a co-founder, it'll help you, and it'll keep you sustainable for a very long time. Because if I am unavailable for any kind of personal reason at the business, a co-founder will always fill in that space. Most of us often forget or not know of this very basic fact of how important co-founders are in the business. I do not have a co-founder, but I am not able to take personal time from business is because I don't have a co-founder. If I have a co-founder, a person who strictly believes in what I believed in before we even started, that person will be able to, take care of the business, take care of the operations when I need time for myself, like a personal break. So having a co-founder is again very important. Now, when you're finding a co-founder, when you're on the hunt for a co-founder, I think all of us should keep that space open. And there are a lot of platforms where you can, reach out to and say, I am looking for a co-founder, and, I am open to having partners. And when you are on the journey to do something, you have to keep your eyes open, like I mentioned. So now I would also like to take you guys back to my very starting stage of entrepreneurship, and in any kind of situation where I have saved myself from committing a mistake. So now, if I am if I am basically talking about my journey, trust me, that is something that should help you guys to not go through a similar rough phase, because we are here to guide the freshers who are venturing into business. And if you are a guide, if you are not taking any kind of guidance, and if you're going through the same kind of troubles, then I can definitely say you guys are not smart. But I believe all of you guys are very smart. So going back to the journey when I started off, I had a lot of people guiding me or trying to guide me, but who definitely did not want to fairly guide me, but they were trying to behave as if they are well wishers. There were people who were making me put my money and make investments into several kind of companies. But because I have not personally given that kind of time to analyze the business model before I invested, I was about to invest in the wrong kind of businesses at one particular point of time. But I saved myself or I refrained myself from investing as soon as I realized I shouldn't be investing in this business model because this business model is not going to work. So I will again connect this to the topic of um, approaching people when you're looking for investments, because all of you guys, even when you have um, enough kind of financial resources back from the family, I believe it is very important to have investors and business partners when you want to start something into business. So when you are looking for business investment, it is very important you have very calculative mentioning about your business model. Don't give details when you're pitching your business model in the first meeting. Limit to a very niche top layer explanation. Don't go deep, because if you're going deep, you're revealing everything that your business can do into this world. So first thing, when you're approaching to a investor for business investment, write your business model, write your revenues in numbers. For example, if you invest 30 lakhs, you get 1 crore in 5 years. That is the basic need that an investor needs at the very first day. You don't have to give any more information in the first meeting. So as an investor, if I review a business proposal with a business model and the revenue versus return, I will immediately check if the numbers are viable, if I am capable of blocking that kind of funds for 5 years. And if I believe in the business model, I will always write back to any person who approaches to me saying, "Hey, let's carry forward with another meeting." Um, so again, when you are approaching an investor, you should always stick to the very top layer introduction of your business and not communicate too much about it. Are there any other questions that are coming in? So I will talk about another topic that I would like to choose. There could be very drastic situations in life, like Ms. Munawar Manasari has mentioned. Um, there could be situations when um, you are your complete body and your complete self is destroyed. There could be such rough situations, but every such kind of destruction will only lead to transformation. So now I will like to talk about destruction with relevance to any kind of transformation. So when you are going through a destructive phase, that's when you get solutions. So only when you get solutions, you transform. So it's very simple. There is another question that's coming in. Sahiti has asked me a question saying, at what point of time is self-satisfaction important, or the responsibilities we have matter the most? See, Sahiti, responsibilities actually matter the most even before self-satisfaction, because family is a commitment. And I believe in the very fair commitment that a family needs. But your responsibilities should be calculatively, I mean, new responsibilities should be calculatively taken only when you're satisfied. See, now I am 21. I know I have enough money, but because I have enough money and I can own a family, have kids, doesn't mean I will take the responsibility of marrying someone and having kids right now. So I will take the responsibility when I'm satisfied on not just the financial front, but after I believe I have explored life enough to know what I exactly want in life. So responsibilities when it comes to family, like parents, is different from responsibilities that we gain from people we add to us as family. Now, when you talk about self-satisfaction importance, um, it's a very rigid topic, but self-satisfaction is something that is important, and you should ensure you're satisfied at every stage in life. So even if you are putting your responsibilities on the first step, it is still important that you keep your heart satisfied. When you fulfill responsibilities, you indirectly get satisfaction. Maybe you will know when you fulfill your responsibilities. But see, if I have to, I get more happiness when I gift my mom a diamond chain, like a platinum chain with diamonds, instead buy a new mobile for myself. So that is satisfaction. So your self satisfaction could be gifting something to someone, or taking care of someone, or catering to your responsibilities. And self satisfaction is not just about buying something for yourself or being happy about what you have for your own self. So yeah, self satisfaction is important, but not at the cost of family. No, definitely not. There's another question. What to do when we are in the stage of life where we don't love what we do, but we have to do, maybe because of responsibilities, commitments, maybe as we have don't, maybe because we don't have another option. Okay, so that is exactly the point of Y junction, and you are definitely stuck there. Now, I know you can't change your path immediately, even if you don't love what you're doing, because you have responsibilities and commitments. But any change should be gradual. It can't be spontaneous over a flick of a second. So it should be very gradual. If you're not liking what you're doing, but if you want to change your path while catering to the responsibilities you have, you should start with creating another road where you can start to travel while also catering to your responsibilities, which is exactly the secured way of perceiving business. And I call this as sustainable business and sustainable entrepreneurship. So this is all about catering to your responsibilities and simultaneously crafting a new path. You can't spontaneously jump from one to other because you have responsibilities, and if you do that, you're failing on the personal front. So I hope I'm clear by saying, you have to take time to jump from one situation or one journey to the other. Are there any other questions, or maybe we can wrap this conversation?
Well, I guess the audience has asked questions. I hope our audience become better action takers and put up all the amount of action that is needed. Thank you so much, sir, for being so patient and giving our
Thank
your
you.
practical opinions. We're glad
No,
to say
thank you
that
so
you've
much.
evidently become our superhero and a major inspiration.
Thank you so much. And like I already mentioned, Ashrita, I would be open to all of you guys to write to me on Instagram, because I'm more active on Instagram, or an email. I can help you guys at any point of time. You can directly reach out to me and share what you want to discuss about. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure being with GirlScript Foundation. Thank you.
Yes, for sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I also thank all the audience for being here for the live.